You know how Iron Man is directly or indirectly responsible for, everyone he fights? Well, Twi is kind of the MLP Iron Man, because apparently the Princess of Friendship can send a pony's life into a downward spiral by just ignoring them at a party. My Little Pony, Amending Fences, begins with Twilight and Spike returning to Canterlot, because Twilight realized that she just sort of completely blew off her friends in Canterlot.
Some Princess of Friendship, she never writes, she never calls.
The dynamic duo dropped by her old pals Minuette, Twinkleshine, Lemonhearts, and Moondancer. Lyra couldn't put in an appearance, probably because she was hanging out with Bonbon or something. And while most of the old Unicorn gang is doing just fine, Moondancer has
turned into a big friggin' nerd.
I was going to say gotten so wrapped up in studying and such that she never has anything to do with other ponies.
Yeah, a nerd.
And apparently it all started when Twi blew off Moondancer's first party. So, in order to stop the horrible guilt, the Princess of Remorse starts badgering Moondancer into hanging out with her and the old gang. But the social outcast is still tightly sealed inside her bookish shell. But finally, after chewing out the Princess of Failship, and a healing cry, Moondancer is ready to open up and be social again. Oh, and Starlight Glimmer is secretly following Twilight. Right there, in the restaurant. There she is.
Private, what have I told you about jumping to conclusions?
Shoot first and ask questions later?
Quite so.
Alright, this episode was a mixed bag. First off, I like how well they implemented this look back at Twilight's past. And the fact that at a certain point in her life, she wasn't exactly the social butterfly she is today. Her old friends Minuette, Twinkleshine, and Lemonhearts are fun, especially Minuette. She's nice, upbeat, and enthusiastic. Lemonhearts and Twinkleshine are much the same, but they have less screen time. I'm not sure I like Moondancer, though. I just don't know how to interpret her. First off, she has the exact same hairstyle as Twi, which kinda gives her a creepy stalker vibe. And her just giving up on other relationships because Twilight didn't come to her party? Seriously? I think the point is, there but for the grace of God go I thing. But it's hard not to see it as Moondancer being a deranged fangirl, or Twilight being elevated to some uber-important status. Now since this episode is all about the feels, don't you know, the humor suffers a bit. Twi is fairly serious most of the time, and she doesn't have any of the more comedically inclined ponies to play off of. Pinkie Pie, who shows up right at the end of the episode, is sort of a plot device, which unfortunately doesn't give her a chance to shine. Now let's look at the art design for this episode. Again, there's not much to speak of, other than some nice views of the Capitol. We finally get to see the outside of Donut Joe's place, and Moondancer's crazy cat lady look, which would probably make Rarity's well-styled head explode. Finally, the biggest strength of the episode is just how much it cares about continuity, both in the overall concept of Twi returning to Canterlot to see her old friends, as well as a lot of little touches, like Spike talking to Donut Joe, seeing Fancy Pants and the lovely Fleur de la Cour. Fleur de Lis. It was cool to see what happened to Twi's personal book depository in her absence, and a possible appearance by Starlight Glimmer in the background of a scene were all great touches. Oh, and doesn't little Twilight sound an awful lot like a certain kindergarten superhero? Okay, now it's time to break down the good and the bad in Amending Fences. On the good side, this episode's heart is in the right place, with its sweet story of reconnecting with old friends and righting past wrongs. Twi's Canterlot gal pals seem very nice, and this episode has a great sense of continuity with the show overall. On the downside, this episode is not particularly funny or visually exciting, and with the central problem of Moondancer, it's not particularly clear what exactly they're trying to say. So I give My Little Pony Amending Fences a 3 out of 5. Now be sure and come back next time for my review of Do Princesses Dream of Magic Sheep? And if you're interested in more reviews of anime, movies, TV shows, comic books, and video games, check out my channel on YouTube at StupidPrivate913, or find my Facebook and Deviantart pages for video updates and more. Thank you for watching.
Hey kids, today's show is brought to you by the letter 4 and the number potato! I'm a stupid private.